the Downtown Business Club, hosted by the Downtown Improvement District.
Welcome, and thanks for coming downtown to the Downtown Business Club here and joining us at the Allen County Public Library. These events have been put on to help people understand the various entrepreneurial opportunities in various sectors of downtown Fort Wayne. We've had programming on artists, how to monetize the business of art, marketing and yoga, things like that. And today our emphasis is on wellness, health and wellness in downtown Fort Wayne. So we have some panelists here that will talk about their various initiatives that they're involved with. First will be Christopher Blake, who is with Operation Fort for Fitness. He's on the left. Then we have Sharina Collier, who has opened up a new business thriving business downtown, Beat Street. And she had a very interesting way that she helped get the business started and financed, and so she'll be talking about that. And then Jason Minnick with Catalyst Fitness. We'll talk about the whole notion of training and fitness. Had moved into the facility there at the Anthony Wayne building. Sharina's on the west side, and the Fight for a Fitter Fort, I may have said that wrong, is it F4? That's what it stands for, Fight for a Fitter Fort. So, and you're affiliated on contract with the city, I believe, right, with the Mayor Henry's initiative for health and wellness. And actually, I've partaken with all three of these people in their train over at Catalyst with Janet at Catalyst Fitness, and then Christopher kind of got me encouraged to think about losing some weight and getting in shape, and so I kind of jumped in there, and then I've been over to see Sharina in her shop and tried their various smoothies and beet juice drinks, and it's been really good. So again, thanks so much for being here, y'all. And if you fill out a questionnaire, please pass those to the left, and then Tanya will pick them up after the presentations. We will then, if anybody has a specific question, they can go ahead and get that passed over, and we'll read them aloud. This is also done at a collaboration with the Allen County Public Library and Access Fort Wayne. They do a wonderful job taping these segments, so these will also be available to be seen on City TV and on our YouTube website. So the notion here is to help people garner an awareness of downtown and the various opportunities that are available, because many times people, when they want to try to be in business or monetize anything they're passionate about, it's always very important and insightful to talk to and listen to folks that have done it. And there's a lot of success stories in downtown Fort Wayne. So we'll start here with start off with Christopher Blake, and he'll explain to us more about Operation F4, Fight for a Fitter Fort.
Right. Yes, Operation Fight for a Fitter Fort, or we like to call it Op F4 for a little shorter term. As I said, we were in one of the top 10 of most obese cities in the United States out of 10,000 cities. That is not a good list to be on. And so where the name came from is, again, we are going to battle against unhealthy habits and the unhealthy environment in a way. We're not here to take anything out. We're just here to add things in. And again, bring awareness to the things that already exist around Fort Wayne, and we'll get more into that. So last February I met with Mayor Henry, and I put together a presentation, kind of a battle plan, if you will, on how we can kind of roll this plan out and hopefully get it to succeed. I used a lot of books, but these were kind of the three main ones that were the basis of. The one on the far left is Malcolm Gladwell's Tipping Point, which is about the spreading of epidemics. It's an amazing book if you haven't got it. Malcolm Gladwell is an amazing storyteller, but what's so cool is he'll tell a story and then throw in science behind it, so that's why I really enjoy it. Switch is about changing human behavior, which we know is just really easy to do. Obviously kidding. Mm-hmm. It is without a doubt, because I do it on myself. I mean, that's what it's all about, is trying to create ourselves daily to get better. So that's been a big book for me, and this is something we incorporate as well. And then the most important one is Made to Stick. So when we do find successes, how do we get them to stay? Again, when we build habits, when we create something that works, we want that idea to survive for generations so that we start getting down that path of healthier habits. So I talk about self-worth, and as you see the question up there, it was one of the questions, is how is the business of health and wellness relative to people of downtown Fort Wayne or Fort Wayne altogether? So I use an analogy of self-worth. If you have a car that's worth $1,000 and you go in to get it fixed and the part costs $1,200, you're probably not going to get it fixed, right? But if your car is worth $100,000 and the part only costs $1,200 to fix, you're not even going to think twice about it. You're going to get it fixed. So using those pictures, obviously, and we use that all the time, that this is our vehicle. And what we invest into our vehicle is what our self-worth is of it. And unfortunately, and I'm not trying to insult anyone, a lot of people in Fort Wayne view their self-worth as the car on the left. They haven't made those investments yet, and that's where we want to start shifting resources towards, to show them that they're worth it, to show them that improvement is necessary in human life. And it's fun. I mean, we all have set goals. We've all attained goals. That's what makes people happy. So I like to talk about, if I may ask here, and I don't want to embarrass anyone, but how many, if you can raise your hand, have a TV that's worth over $500 in your home? Raise your hands. Yep. So again, something else we like to ask is, how many of you been to like an all-you-can-eat or drink social event? Raise your hands. Right? How many of you during those social events, if it was $40, worked your butt off to get your money back by overeating or overdrinking? Yes. I mean, I'm not standing on my soapbox. Know that about us. We change ourselves daily, but that's kind of what we're talking about, is shifting those priorities. When people, and I guarantee most of you have a TV that's over $1,000 in your home, but when it comes to a $30 gym membership, people's temperatures rise. And that's not how it should be. And again, what's so funny is you can literally make your money back. If you spend $30 at a gym, you can work to make that money back just like you do at an all-you-can-eat or all-you-can-drink event. So those are just kind of some of the things we like to talk about, and again, bringing that awareness to what we are looking at and what we are spending our money on and how we can kind of change things around. So see here. So kind of the paradigms we like to work off of are three of these. A good teacher. This is my personal philosophy. I saw it one day on Facebook and I've lived it since. A good teacher tells you where to look, but not what to see. I myself experiment all the times with different things, whether trying to eat vegetarian. My big thing now is yoga, for example. I work out I go to Prana. And again, I'll tell you where I look and what I saw, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. You have to see what you want to see. And so that's, again, what we bring to the table and what we like to talk about. When people ask us questions, we'll tell you what we saw, or if we don't know what we're seeing, then we'll look for it. We have great resources here, obviously, in Fort Wayne, and we like to get those answers. Again, like I talked about at the beginning, we are about adding things in and not taking things out. And I think that's what gets people a little worried at first when you hear about a diet plan or an exercise plan or a plan to get in shape. So the biggest example I always use in this are when people want to start drinking less soda pop. And so immediately their mind starts going to, okay, I drink about 12 a week. How do I get it down to 10? Okay, I can take them out these days, but we all know, and again, I'm preaching from personal experience, those days come where you're supposed to not drink the Coke, but it was a crappy weekend, the kids were a pain, so you excuse yourself and you drink it. So what we're talking about is, well, why not try to add in what your daily water intake is? How many of you do that? How many of you know if you're drinking the right required water daily? Anyone? Yeah, nice, excellent. Do you drink a lot, if I may ask, extra soda pops or anything like that? Were you ever? Yeah, nice. I mean, that's our philosophy. Again, when you're drinking all that water, the last thing you're going to want to do is drink a Coke. You'll probably reach for some caffeine. That's unfortunately something else I can't touch on. But again, that just shows you kind of where you can go within your life too. It's about adding things in, not taking things out. It's about self-improvement. And this book is a game changer for anyone who is a business owner. It pretty much debunks motivation and what we have thought about motivation, especially the stick and carrot method of motivation. Whether that's you're trying to get employees to do something or whether you're trying to get yourself to do something, exercise, eat better, etc. Another book I highly recommend. Some of the challenges we have faced I mean, there are a few, as you can imagine, getting people to change their habits and get healthier. It's been not that easy. The first one, people finding every excuse not to begin their actualized life, is for sure our biggest one. And again, preaching from personal experience, we always find an excuse not to start on what we should be starting with. We all do it. That's how the human behavior and species is. We've met with over 100 organizations. The gentleman up front, if you have any complaints, is the other consultant that works with me, Ted, so please direct to him. And we've had a lot of interest face-to-face when we hold the meetings, especially with workplace wellness, getting their employees on board. But unfortunately, it just hasn't carried over. And so it puzzles us, and we're still going to come back. We haven't given up by any means, but again, and I'll get to it as far as kind of that investment in your people, which is huge. Again, it's sad, but it's how we work. Humans need a crisis moment before they change. I mean, it's in most cases, it's true. It's sad that we have to hit a rock bottom before we change rather than changing before we get to that point. So we're still trying to figure out why that is and how we can do that before it happens, especially with this new generation of kids. It's unbelievable. I mean, if you're a parent and you go home and do not think that it's amazing that your kids aren't going to live longer than you, this is the first generation with all the advancement in medical advancements we've had. It's devastating. It's unbelievable. I mean, that is something that you cannot comprehend. So it's just amazing to us. And, we have over 1,100 members signed up on our website, but we always want more because, again, we're all about bringing awareness. Our website is free. It has a ton of stuff, which I'll talk about here. But, again, when we look to get grant money for trying to do things around the city to allow these free stuff, these free things for people, that helps us. The three, kind of with the books too, what we've been doing around the city with our successes. The first stage is promoting what's already there. Kickstart, which is going on this month, which is awesome. Fort for Fitness. Again, things that are already around Fort Wayne. Actually, my buddy Ben Linehan, also in the audience here, first one we're doing Fridays at Parkview Field, boot camp for the Y, completely free for everyone. That was like one of F4's first things. So again, it's just making it fun. Establish connectivity. We have our website, which we want to, as it says up here, kind of a central repository for everything that is health and wellness in Fort Wayne, because I think sometimes when people take that first step, there's just so much to look at that they get information overload and they don't even take that first step because there's just so many choices. So that's where we hope to come in. We got an app coming out that's going to tie in our whole trail system. It's going to be amazing. And then the third one, which we are still working on, are filling those gaps, which is tough, especially in the winter months. Again, you can take my word for it. I am much less active in the winter, unfortunately, than I should be. But if you look at top 10 healthiest cities, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Madison, Wisconsin are prominently there, and they have much harsher winters than us. So it is on us to figure out what they do, what we can do, because again, it's no excuse. There are literally no excuses to why we can't start cracking top 25 healthiest cities, which is what we want to work on. Some other successes, we just got done with our first intern at IPFW, Carly Thompson, who set the bar very high. We have a new dietitian coming in from IU, Ellie Hall. We have a team function on our website. I've looked everywhere in the United States. We're the only city that offers that. Essentially, companies can challenge each other, citizens can challenge each other to miles, steps, minutes of activity, or even weight loss. We have videos. We just added one of my gems, which I love, which is Good Form Running videos. Talks about cadence, lean, posture. Saved my life. I used to hate running. I was forced to do it in high school. So if you are thinking about running, I recommend you get on the website and check those out. We worked with Three Rivers Running Company on it. And some interesting stuff we have going on right now. We're working with the UK and the Mindful Eating Organization on getting a couple studies started here. So we got some things in motion which we're very happy about, and we're going to continue going on. So what business owners need to know, and this is if you're interested, that 50%, RAND did a survey across the United States of employees of 50 or more people, and that's how many have workplace wellness organizations. And of course, of those, there's proven science that shows less sick days, happier employees, more productive employees. And again, it just kind of baffles us that businesses look at numbers and use them when they show something, but when something like that comes up, we're still only at a 50% hit rate at workplace wellness. Not only that, but some of the workplace wellness organizations around Fort Wayne have a very low participation number. And it's so incentivized, which again, it's just we're trying to figure it out. I mean, it's just very interesting, again, how you change human behavior, how you get humans interested in this. So I would recommend, again, I have the link to the study if you want to read it. It's pretty interesting. And then again, just back to the self-worth and the investment of people. That's the biggest thing. I am not a CEO. I hope to be one day. I mean, this is, Ted and I's thing, but I would have a workplace wellness without a doubt in my company. I mean, that would be one of the top 3 things that we would work on because, again, the numbers that it shows of what it can do as an investment are tremendous for your company. So our long-term goals, if any of you saw kind of the press release, is to lose 500,000 pounds by 2016. And where we got that number is Oklahoma City, which has twice our population, lost 1 million pounds, and they did it in a year. But just like we said, we don't want to be a diet plan because a lot of people, when they do diets, they lose the weight, but then they get right back into the old habits. We've seen it hundreds of times where people take on the weight or take off the weight and then put it back on, and that's not what we want to do. We want to create that environment that allow people to be more active, eat better, and the weight loss will be a byproduct of that. And so that's one of my favorite quotes I talk about all the time because I think it is true. I think sometimes we get so caught up, and it is in a little bit of way that, when you're the person trying to change for the better, people kind of get a little, not upset, but, they see that they're not doing it, and it can turn them off. And so I like saying that because we all have that light inside of us to shine bright, and when we do it and other people see it, they start shining just like us, and that's what we want to do around the city. And we're looking for those bright spots that already exist or creating them. So I recommend that if you have your phones right now, if you could get them out and just get on that website so it's saved to your Safari browser. And again, there are recipes on there. We're doing an F4 bottle cookbook, good form running, amazing stuff on there. It's 100% free, and we're always looking for feedback. So that is it. I appreciate the time, everyone.
Well, thank you very much, Christopher. We will, once again, write down your questions, send them to the left, and we'll have opportunities to get those questions answered. Very good presentation. Thank you so much. Next, Sharina is going to talk about Beat Street Juicery and give us some insight as to how she started the business.
I represent Beat Street Juicery. My husband and I, Nathan Collier, we are the founders, and Shannon Monroe, she is a co-owner with us. You'll often see her as well sometimes in the shop. One of us is usually juicing over the other or choosing who's going to be juicing that day. And our mission is to improve the present way communities eat and drink through accessible and affordable organic foods that will support our health and fuel our happiness. As a lot of you know, we are aspiring to be a catalyst for health through conscious choices of food and through diet and through exercise. We started by launching a Kickstarter campaign, and just by a show of hands, out of curiosity, how many know about a Kickstarter campaign and what that entails? Okay, so quite a few. For those who don't, Kickstarter is a wonderful way for any person, individual who has a creative design idea, business idea. If you want to write a book, create a CD, do some type of act within the community, you can go onto Kickstarter and launch a campaign, and you set a goal for your fundraiser, and you have rewards for people who donate to your campaign. And we set a $6,000 goal through our Kickstarter campaign, and you technically have 30 days to reach that goal. What a lot of people don't know is you have to meet that goal by the end of that last day at the exact time that you started, because if you are even so much as $1 off, you don't get any of it. It all goes back to every single person who donated. So we were able to raise $6,350 just through Kickstarter alone. And that was by some of the people in the room, as well as just people in our community who donated $10, $20, $100, to wonderful people who donated over $1,000 to help us just become who we are and get open. My husband and I created the business plan, and when we were doing that, there was the opportunity to go to a bank or investors or something like that to get started. However, we really wanted to do this with our community, because it was also a way for us to see if it was going to be a feasible thing in Fort Wayne, because, let's face it, organic juice, people going and buying juice over, like the coffees or the pops or all that stuff, it's not really something that's very prominent here in the Midwest, unfortunately, until, thus far. So it was a really nice way for us to gauge, okay, do these people really want it? Does everybody in our community really feel the need and the desire for nourishment? And it was amazing to see on that last day that we had reached our goal. So we also worked with Canine, now Brightpoint, to get a small business loan. And I'd just like to talk about them real quick too, because that is also another opportunity that I feel a lot of people who want to start a business and might not necessarily have the funding or the idea of how it works, they are definitely there to support and help any individual start their small business within the city and become that entrepreneur. So that really acted as a reserve for Beach Street in case anything did come up, because we did have our own capital, the Kickstarter, and that. So it's just nice to really use all of the things that are available to us in our community and see how supportive everybody was for that. And one thing that I would really like to point out before I move on to the next slide, Beach Street Juicery, as it started with everybody's names. When you see, when you walk into the shop, you can see everybody's names who donated on the wall. We're really more about driving change. So we are definitely not a profit-driven business by any means. We're thriving, and we are actually able to employ 3 people, which I think is amazing in a matter of almost 6 months now. But it's really not about creating that top dollar. It's about really just getting it out there, getting nourishment out there for children, for adults, for all walks of life. And everything that we use in our store is organic. We go through lots and lots of different articles to ensure that everything that we are getting from the company, the manufacturer, the local farmers, we're working with young urban homesteaders now to get local produce, driving in through the summertime as well, since, as we know, it's kind of hard to get stuff in the wintertime in Indiana. So kind of moving on, why did I do this? Why did my husband and I decide to do this? I really love this quote. I found it, and it just spoke exactly to this event. On the bottom left there, you will see my dad. I'm going to try to not get choked up. But it really started because of him. And as Chris was talking about, a lot of the times in our human nature, it takes a personal experience for us to act on something. My dad had cancer for 3.5 years, lung cancer. It spread to his hip bone, and it did end up spreading to his brain as well. And he did numerous cancer treatments. He always said that if he could have something tested on him to help somebody else, that he would rather do that than do nothing at all. So he is part of a chemo experiment, as well as radiation and all that stuff. And just going through that experience, I didn't know anything about organic food. We ate as healthy as we could, but I had absolutely no idea what the difference between organic food and most food was. I didn't know anything about essential oils. I didn't know anything about juicing. And while he was in the hospital, I started researching all these things, and I started hearing about all these things on Facebook, social media, medical journals, things like that. And really just saw the experience that we had in the hospital with nutrition, to where nutrition is really lacking in a lot of our in our ways of healing. And so after he passed in March of 2013, I was just kind of at a loss of what to do with my life, honestly. And my personal experience really was I was my own catalyst for a change and to create something that I felt a lot of us are so strongly in need of. And we really found that it does serve our community, and especially being downtown, from people from JK's coming down to get hangover elixir or some food, not to call anybody out now, or people just stopping in. Like, we had 2 people this morning stop in already saying, I have a sore throat, what can I take? It's amazing to see these people coming in and asking our advice for what they can take to feel better, to get their blood pressure lowered down with the beet juice, to change their points and everything. And it's so important. That's one thing I do really want to stress, that it's so important to know the difference between why to intake organic juice compared to other juices or produce, because you're really getting everything that nature is providing for you, essentially, without the pesticides, without the chemicals and all those things. And it serves everyone, because we all have beating hearts, right? Your heart, you can feel your heart pumping in your chest right now. You're breathing. We're all in need of health. Health is almost a lost commodity at this point. And a lot of the times we find that we are pressed for time and pressed for cash. How many in here are always pressed for time? You need that quick lunch. You need that quick fix in the morning, okay? You don't have time to stop or make your own juice or make your own healthy breakfast. And unfortunately, we sacrifice our health for that convenience. And what we find is, because of that socioeconomic constraint on our lives, essentially, on our health, we end up paying for it later. Whether, it might be 2 months from now, 2 years from now, eventually our bodies will let us know that something has been going on and you need to fix it now. And unfortunately, a lot of the times it can be too late. So this is really just about being preventative, taking your health into your own hands. And let's see. I would also say that, how many in here know somebody with some kind of disease? You know somebody with cancer, you know somebody with heart disease, you know somebody with asthma, you know somebody with some type of ailment that is kind of just a part of their life, and it becomes a part of your life as much as it is theirs sometimes, because we care. And we all have that body system and this desire to be healthy. So it's really, as Chris said, it's changing that mindset to where there is no quick fix. There really is no quick fix. Whatever the commercials say and whatever people might say, there's no quick fix. Just as it takes time to get dressed in the morning, to build that relationship, to build that environment for work, for school, for whatever it might be, we have to start taking the time to take care of ourselves just as much. And when we have that experience, and just as in the shop, Shannon and I and my husband and even the girls in there are amazing, and we're constantly learning. For example, agave. How many people use agave? Okay, we were using agave in the shop, and we just recently learned about how agave is actually usually laced with some type of high fructose corn syrup. So what did we do? Yay, great, fun. But we tossed it out, and we're now using maple syrup because we learned about the many benefits of maple syrup, which I know sounds crazy because you smear it on those pancakes. But it's actually very, very beneficial for you. And lastly on this one, Shannon's little son is over there on the far right-hand side, and it was interesting because she is a mother and he just turned 3. And some of you know I am going to be a mother by the end of the year now. And it's hard that my dad's not going to be here to see it, but at the same time, it's kind of a blessing in disguise because through this experience and knowing all that I do now, I am able to change my health and my life for my child to hopefully create that better health and better environment for, you know, my child, our child. And so it's not just about like us, it's about the children too, because I remember when we were doing the business plan, we found a study where in Indiana, about 70% of elementary school kids going into high school as well have some type of heart condition or diabetes. That's a problem. That's a really, really big problem, especially when they're under the age of 12 or 15. You know, we have to think about their lives going forward. So moving on to as why we chose downtown. We are in the heart, well, kind of the heart of downtown. I still like to call it the heart of downtown. Call me selfish. But we are right underneath Westbury Apartments. And Eric Fisher is our wonderful landlord. He's also a part of the board of DID. And it kind of came as a blessing, really. It just happened to be, it just all worked out with the timing of the Kickstarter campaign and everything. But I'll just kind of quickly touch on some of the points up there. Downtown has just been amazing. You guys have been amazing in helping us not only promote the Kickstarter campaign, but really just let people know that we are there and what we're doing, as well as visit Fort Wayne and so many other local businesses, even Forteza. You know, we have a collaboration going on with them, and it's really, really amazing to see that downtown family support, and it's so awesome. Like I have up there, the soul of a city lies within the heart of downtown, and it's true because you can really make up what Fort Wayne is about if you come downtown. There's tons of activities and festivals, and the accessibility, walkability, especially with Main Street, that is awesome, by the way. All the bike lanes coming in, and you know, we have people stopping in off their bikes and taking walks. We have people who will kind of knock on our window and stand outside with their puppy dog, and we'll go out there and take their juice order, and then they'll be on their way, but that's usually pretty fun. And tourism, visitors, visibility for other entrepreneurs. In our workshop space, and as well as just the entire space in our shop, we offer artists to be able to display their art, to display their pottery, or if they'd like to sell anything. And with visitors that do come in from out of town, we, you know, try to let them know, because we do have people, like last week, this lady came in and she really wanted a coffee. Just really wanted a coffee. I'm like, hey, it's okay. I had a coffee yesterday. Like, I'm not perfect, you know. And it's fine. And I was like, go down to Forteza. They have wonderful lattes, and I'm pretty sure she went down there. So it's really just about recommending, you know, each other to one another. And our successes, changes, and challenges. Again, with just people, it's just, I can't even explain the feeling when somebody comes in and they said, you know, I had that beet juice yesterday and I've been having it each week and I've lowered my blood levels about 15 points. And I mean, how can you just not feel the joy from that? Or somebody coming in because they got over their cold just because of nutrition. It's a lot easier to drink something in 2 minutes than spend 5 minutes chewing, because you know, we would all really get tired of chewing for that long. A couple big challenges that we have found, especially with summer hitting, since all this is very, very new for us downtown, especially with all the changes coming, is we reduced our hours as demand does die off late in the evening. But we have had to increase our hours. So everybody knows about our 2 to 4 break that we had. Yeah, we don't have that anymore. So we are open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. straight. Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. straight. And we will stay closed on Sundays just because we are a family business, and that gives our employees time to their family as well. And we do really value that. But we have noted parking is a little bit of a challenge sometimes, but you know, people kind of are able to deal with that, and it's nice, especially with all the bike lanes coming in and things like that. And for the future, we just hope to continue to expand and continue to educate on self-health, because it's not so much about, you know, we are there. We are there to help answer questions, to share our knowledge, but we very much want to empower each and every single individual who comes in there to do their own research, to find out for yourselves, and to just take your health into your own hands. And it is scary, but it's definitely very, very possible. And we are supporting local farmers now that summer is around, so that's very exciting. Like I said, we're working with young urban homesteaders. That's just one of the farmers right now, and being that continued asset to other local entrepreneurs is very, very important to us as well. So that's pretty much it. We have a different option for the downtown area, which I think is very nice for those especially who have dietary restrictions. We offer not just juices now, but we do have lunch available. We have our organic, vegan, vegetarian wraps. We make our own almond milks. So we're really trying to provide a lot of different options for everyone. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you.
That was really quite a story, and very interesting. We appreciate that. Well, next is Jason Minnick with Catalyst Fitness. And Jason, I hope you tell the story about how the body is like a furnace. So I remember reading that about 10 years ago, and it really stuck. So thank you.
All right.
Jason Minnick.
Well, it amazes me, like, we come from different backgrounds and different directions, but both of them have said pretty much everything I'm going to say today. And better than I'm going to say it, but either way. So I own Catalyst Fitness. I started the company about 10 years ago now. I graduated from Taylor University with my degree in wellness, and back then there was only 4 of us in the major. That was exercise science majors. There was 4 of us in the entire university. Now there's hundreds, and it's a growing field, and it's fun to see, and definitely taps into there's a movement starting to go back in the other direction. We haven't figured out all the ways to make inroads into people's lives yet, but it's fun to see things starting to head in that direction. So thank you for having me here today. So Catalyst Fitness, a little bit about us. We traditionally have been a personal services focused company, mostly personal training, nutrition education, going to people's houses and cleaning out their cupboards for them and telling them what they need to stock it with, you know, anything, whatever it takes to make a difference in people's lives. And as many of you know, Taylor University is a Christian university. And when I was there, it was really instilled in me that servant mindset of just serving people to the best of your abilities. Get down and wash their feet for them, whatever it takes to put them before you. And so that's the kind of focus that we've kind of always had as a company. We've grown a little bit over the years, though, where it used to be just me going to people's homes and offices at first and doing whatever it takes. Now we've got about 14 staff members working on being full-time. We do upwards on a good week, upwards of 300 or more personal appointments every week. Today alone, we have 70 people that will be interacting with us in one level or another with personal training, nutrition counseling, taking a class maybe or something like that. And that doesn't count our new project downtown with the gym, with members who come in on their own and utilize our facilities. So it's been definitely an honor and a blessing to do what I do and to be able to earn a living doing something that I love to do. And our mission statement from day one has been to grow with integrity, and that's it. I don't really have a good plan of what that actually is any given day or year, but we know that we don't want to grow unless we can do it right and take care of people and treat them right. And it's not about the money that we make, even though we have to be able to do this for a living. It's more about what we can do for people. So that's basically what we're all about. And nowadays, most of the staff I have are far smarter and more qualified than I've ever been. Close to half of our staff have their master's degrees in exercise science, kinesiology, or a medical or wellness-related field. We continue to do services out of people's homes or offices, but we do have 2 physical locations. One of them is inside a Wildwood Racket Club out southwest. That's more of a smaller personal training studio. That's been our home base now for a little over 7 years. And then in January, we took over the space that was vacated by Anytime Fitness in the Anthony Wayne building downtown. It was a good opportunity for us to grow into something a little different, a little larger, and a new way to engage people. And it's been fun adventure. It's been a busy few, 3 or 4 months here, but it's coming along, and it's been fun. And the support that we've been getting from downtown businesses, as well as it's been huge for us to at least get the word out that we're there and what we're all about. So I think we are the only locally founded, owned, and operating fitness business now in Fort Wayne that has a personal fitness studio and gym. And it hasn't been easy. We're not a franchise. There's been nobody to show us what to do, no deep pockets to dip into when the going gets tough, and it does at times. But, whatever it is, we're going to keep going, and we're going to keep growing and pushing forward to engage people. But either way, no matter what your goal is, we do have an expert, not me, we have experts waiting to help you get there in the quickest and healthiest way. So if you don't mind, I want to share a little bit about what drove me to get into this field, and even ultimately what drove me to give downtown a shot and do the things that we do, and maybe has influenced decisions for investing some of our resources in areas of Fort Wayne that really need it. So I'll show you this picture here. That is my grandmother and my grandfather, and that's my dad on the tricycle. So amazing people, and we have similarities in our background, where we come from, and how family has influenced us. And that's 1955 right there. And my grandfather was really close to my age, actually a little younger than I am now. And all my grandparents on both sides of the family are amazing people, hardworking farmers, working outside, very active. They love the lake, they love to water ski and all those things. And here is that same grandfather, and that's me right there on the right, and my brother. He'll probably be upset that I put that picture up there, but either way, that by the time I came around, my grandfather had aged a lot, and lifestyle choices had caught up with him quite a bit. Unfortunately, I never got to know him that well. And there's things that you remember from your childhood, things that really stick with you, and sometimes are very random. Like, I remember the feeling of that countertop when you run your hand over it and how that felt. And I remember the way it smelled when you walk in their house. And I do remember the sound of my grandma dialing the numbers on that phone there, that rotary phone, and click, click, click. But one of the things that I remember the most was saying goodbye to my grandfather as he laid in his bed, dying from when I was 9 years old. He passed away at a fairly young age for himself, and I remember crying for hours every night, for what seemed like nights on end. And for each of my grandparents, I did that. I lost 3 of them in a matter of 4 years' time. And maybe, Christopher, that was probably my crisis moment that, made change happen for me, and at least got me thinking a little differently. And because a lot of it was preventable. Fast forward to today's world, This is the average American male in today's society. They're not out on the farm working hard. They're sitting indoors in front of a television or a computer screen. Our workforce are sitting at desks all day long and waiting on elevators to take them upstairs when there's a stairs 10 feet away. It's no wonder that nearly all of the top 10 causes of death in our nation are closely tied to preventable diseases. Preventable because we do it to ourselves through inactivity and terrible food choices. There's a fact. Pharmaceutical companies sold $307 billion worth of drugs to Americans in 2010, which is nearly double the $172 billion mark set only 10 years prior. Bad trend that we're heading there. And a large majority of these drugs, billions of dollars worth, were used to treat the symptoms of preventable lifestyle-related conditions, not the causes. The cause being terrible choices in the environment that we've created for ourselves. That environment, what it boils down to, is just simply one of convenience. we've convenienced ourselves into a big mess, basically. and over time, we've slowly shaved a little bit off the fringes of what's good and healthy for us to gain a greater position of convenience. And 2 more quick facts. A 2005 study took 10 random samples of umbilical cord blood provided to them by the American Red Cross and found 287 chemicals, 180 known to cause cancer in adults, 217 that are linked to brain and nervous system damage, and 208 that have been shown to affect fetal or child development. Sorry. You're doing, you're doing the good things there. In 2008, pharmaceutical drugs were found in most of our country's drinking water and affecting at least 46 million Americans. Researchers are finding evidence that even diluted concentrations affect aquatic species in the wild, as well as impair the functions of human cells in the laboratory. So why do people take these medicines? It's to feel better and to counteract what we've done to ourselves, basically. Like I said, we've convenienced ourselves into a mess, and we're sending our kids right down the same path, and that's a pretty sickening thing to me. I have 4 little ones at home myself. So what do we do? You know, we can go at that in any direction, but in my opinion, and I hope it becomes your opinion, we make the opposite convenient. It comes down to what's accessible and convenient, ultimately. That's human nature. We evolve our cities, we need to evolve our food, our water, our habits, and our old ways of conducting business into something better. We make activity and healthy food convenient. Stop offering terrible vending machine food at your office. Invest in your workforce. Be willing to make changes and invest. Somebody has to get out front and make it happen. So why did I come downtown? I don't know. My CPA, he's not real happy with me probably with the whole thing. But I came downtown because while in Fort Wayne there are options, the majority of those health and fitness options are, you know, up northwest, they're out southwest, they're out northeast. There's a huge void of convenient offerings downtown, in the south and southeast parts of our community as well, and many other pocket neighborhoods filled with thousands of people who are either unable or unwilling to drive to the outskirts of town to exercise. We have to make it convenient, and that's why I've chosen to locate my business down here. Not because it's a proven business model guaranteed to make money, but because it provides people with accessibility to services. And that's what we need if we want downtown to thrive, whether it's business or housing or residential or anything. One metric that's used in the fitness business is 20% penetration into a given marketplace. This means that if out of all the people that live or work within a 5 to 10 minute drive of my gym, only 20% of them will engage us or another gym on their own at some level. But what about the other 80%? Chances are that the 20% that do join probably don't need it nearly as much as the other 80%. So that's where you come in. These are your coworkers, these are your employees, these are yourselves. The majority of our days are spent at work. That's where we spend so much of our time. And things are very different now from when I started in the field, and people don't feel good and they're waking up to it. So they want options, and they want convenient options. More than ever, people want to work for someone who cares about them as a person, not just gives them a paycheck. So I get it. Sometimes you need to show up, people need to show up and just do their job, but at the end of the day, people want to be part of something greater than themselves and greater than just the daily grind. I get resumes every week now from people who want to make a complete career change because they want to get out of the office environment and do something that's meaningful to them, and they feel like they're making a difference. So people are thinking about it. And it's been proven time and time again, we could pull up any number of studies to support it, that people do a far better job and are happier and more productive if they are healthier, not to mention the direct cost to the bottom line. I can't mention it due to confidentiality, but one of the companies that we work with our workplace wellness programming that we offer, just got some numbers back on their healthcare costs. They're a large company, they're self-funded health insurance, and they found that employees with lifestyle-related conditions cost them 10 times what other employees cost them each year, to the tune of over $10,000 per person per year. And so it's definitely benefits them to invest in wellness and health, whether it's educating people, whether it's providing opportunities, something to counteract that. 3 employees, can make a huge difference to the bottom line, only 3 people. So, and there's another company we work with. They are a local organization, but they have 12 big major plants worldwide that we've been working with them for about 2 years now. They did a pilot program with our workplace wellness programming because out of all 12 facilities worldwide and all their employees, Fort Wayne has the oldest and least healthy population. So they're piloting a program with us, and in that program, we've been able to find some great ways to get in and engage people, but still the old guard of thinking has been a barrier. There's a lot of social pressure not to leave your desk, even though you're allowed to, not to leave your desk and go do something healthy for yourself and exercise for an hour, even if those people are willing to stay 2 extra hours at night to get their work done. So we've got to change company culture, and it starts at the top, and it starts with people getting out front and leading, and finding those people in your organization that are enthusiastic about it, and like giving them the chances and the empowerment to do something and encourage others around them. That's what it takes. Every company's different, but I guarantee you, you are affected by it. So whether you like it or not, this involves you. I've personally invested what little I have to help those who desperately need it, and if my downtown gym fails, it's my family who suffers. I won't let that happen though, so don't worry. But guess what? If you don't do something to push for a healthier workforce, it'll be your family and friends that suffer in the end. And simply paying for gym memberships to reimburse those who are those 20% who already use the gym, while it's a very nice thing to offer, it can't stop there. It's got to go beyond that. It has to be a multi-layered approach. We need to educate people. We need to enable them. We need to encourage them. And I'd be happy to sit down with anybody who wants to at least talk about an affordable way to implement at least something into your workplace. Together we can start healing things and healing our community, and clearly there's some really great things happening and amazing people who are doing some things. We just need to increase that awareness and increase that accessibility. That's it.
Thank you, Jason. Next slide, if you'd go ahead and click it to one more slide. If there's any questions, we could go ahead and collect those. I don't know if anybody has any particular questions, but I did want to mention that we do have representatives here from the YMCA. And while our focus is on the entrepreneurial aspects and startups, initiatives that are beginning, we do want to make sure that, and people realize that the YMCA has been around for well over 100 years, I believe, and is offering all kinds of wellness services throughout the city in many of the neighborhoods that Jason referred to. But the startup and entrepreneurial aspects are the focus. So, and the YMCA also has information on the table there. Well, we've got time for a few questions here. My doctor told me that I could live between 100 and 110 to 100 and 110 because I do not have one of 6 chronic conditions by age 60. Is this what you are learning about baby boomers? That's for Christopher Blake, or I guess anybody that wants to take it. Basically what they're saying is the doctor says that at 60 he can live to be 100 or 110 because he doesn't have 6 chronic conditions.
I'm not a doctor, so I can't. I was informed of a book last week, actually, this young lady was reading that said, when you get to 85, it is your lifestyle choices. And after that, it does carry your lifestyle choices, but it's big time with genetics as well to live to that 100 and 110. But again, just like kind of stacking the deck, the better you eat, the better. I mean, they've shown that I believe they're called telenomes, or it's some part of our genetic strand. It essentially shows how long we're going to live, and stress is a big thing that it works like bleach. It just will kill them. I mean, down to a point, wear them to a nub. So that's about the gist of what I know. I don't know if anyone has summed it up. Hope that answered it.
All right. We're getting a little short on time, but we do have time for a couple more questions. Do you see a natural extension from individual to environmental health? Do you find support in our community for those initiatives? Sustainable development and waste reduction is also of interest in the future for Downtown Business Club. So do you find support in our community for environmental health?
Is that for anybody?
Anybody?
I most definitely do. Just seeing it in our shop with the people who come in, and as well as far as waste and things like that, we as a business have made it our own initiative to make sure that everything that we use is either made in America, compostable, or recyclable. But as far as the people who come in, it's nice to see that everybody is really kind of on the same page as far as our intake with its effect on the environment, really agreeing with, you know, what we're doing as well as what they're doing in their household as well.
We're just a little short. Let's go ahead, Jason, if you wanted to jump in there.
Only thing I have to add is we're a product of our environment that we create around us. And so I think there are a lot of good things happening, but we need to be able to cut out the waste and cut out the layers to make actual change happen.
Very good. And just one more. This is an interesting one because there's always one of the main topics about downtown Fort Wayne is the grocery store, and this has to do with a question regarding would a fresh food, quick service restaurant be a good fit for downtown? My family would like to put a Freshie deli downtown. So, show of hands on that one. What do you think? Well, looks like a good idea from here.
As a pregnant lady, I would say absolutely.
Okay, very good, very good. And I do want to make sure that we promo the fact that Fight for Fitter Fort, F4, will be at lunch on the square, and especially their 30-day challenge that they're going to have. So, Christopher, you want to close with just something about that, perhaps?
Yeah, we have some prizes to give away, but essentially it's like anything we have found out, unfortunately, it really is as simple as it can be. And we have a fun little idea we're trying to work with everyone. So if you come down there for the food truck eating, we have an array of 30-day challenges you can choose from. The big one I always like, as you heard me say it earlier, is taking 30 days to track how much water and if you're actually getting the right amount of water, because it is unbelievable the pictures of people that weren't getting enough water and then only 30 days after what's going on. And it is such, again, this is just my opinion, but as far as that snowball effect to keeping things going with your health, that is one of the most paramount ones. Because it's simple, it's dirt cheap, obviously, and it's just about bringing that awareness. So definitely come see us. It's June 4th, the first Thursday of June. It's going to be rocking, bands, food trucks. We'll have cornhole out there some weeks. We'll have foot golf out other weeks. But it's awesome. It's a party. And it's funny, you started to go over here. We were talking about that today, a friend of mine, where you look at those healthiest cities, and it is a constant party. You run the 5Ks, you get a beer afterwards. You eat the burgers after your race. You know, we're all about moderation. That's what it's about, is bringing that awareness. Mm-hmm. And you see those people, and it drives you crazy, because I would see it. And I mean, I'm trying to get to that point where they get out of bed at 7 in the morning and they're fired up for life. That's what it's about, and that's where we need to get. So, I mean, that's what it's all about. It's just bringing that awareness. So.
Well, again, thank you. And I did misspeak. It's lunch on the plaza, not lunch on the square. So things do change. That's the only thing you can count on. And we do want to encourage folks to stop at the various healthy eating options in downtown Fort Wayne. Bring those box lunches. Really help support the ecosystem of downtown. There's so many people. We've highlighted 3 here today. You're all here. And we love downtown. We believe in downtown. So come to lunch on the square. Food trucks are great, but by the same token, we have a lot of brick and mortar restaurants that have options to bring to the square. To the plaza, the Power Plaza, by the way, the Power Plaza with the Tower of Power in the Summit City. Now I don't know if that'll stick, but I kind of like the way it sounds. So, again, sorry to steal any thunder here, but thanks so much, folks. You did a great job.